My name is Daniela, and this is the story of how I lost myself, and how I found my way back. I live in a quiet coastal town called Brighton Bay, just outside the noise and rush of New York City. It's the kind of place where the streets stay calm even in summer, where locals nod at each other in cafes, and where the sound of the ocean is never far. I work at a small beachfront hotel as a receptionist. The job is simple. Pay is enough. My life for a long time was quiet. Some would say dull. But I found comfort in that simplicity, in routines, in early morning walks, in coffee at my favorite corner table. After a string of relationships that left me with more silence than love, I decided I was better off alone. I told myself I was content. I even believed it most days. But sometimes late at night, I wondered what it would feel like to be loved without confusion, without fear, without pain. Then Michael walked into the lobby of the hotel. He was here on a business trip, or so he said. He didn't look like most of the travelers that passed through. He had this gentle calmness about him. His clothes were sharp, but his eyes were soft, tired. When he asked for a room, his voice was low and kind. When I handed him the key card, our fingers brushed, just for a second, and I felt something flicker. I told myself it was nothing. But the next day he came back down to the lobby and asked about the town. The way he listened, like what I said mattered, stayed with me. He wasn't in a rush. He didn't check his phone. He smiled when I described my favorite coffee shop and nodded when I told him where the quiet part of the beach was. That was the beginning. Michael stayed for 2 weeks. First it was just friendly conversation. But soon he'd linger in the lobby after his meetings. We'd talk about music, about cities, about our favorite books. One evening we walked by the lighthouse as the sun dipped low, and I told him about growing up here, how the sea always felt like home. He listened, really listened, and in those moments I felt seen. I hadn't felt that in a long time. One night, walking under stars with the breeze in our hair, he said, "Being with you feels like peace." I didn't know what to say. So I didn't. But I felt it too. When his stay ended, he left Brighton Bay, but not me. He texted every day. He called every night. He told me he missed our conversations, that the city felt colder without me. And I missed him too, more than I wanted to admit. A month later he returned. Not to the hotel this time, but to a small rented house near the harbor. He invited me over for dinner. I told myself it was just as friends. But it didn't feel like friendship when we cooked together in the tiny kitchen and danced barefoot to old songs. Felt like something else. Like something real. I let myself believe in that feeling. I let it grow. Until the night everything changed. We were sitting on the couch, the sound of waves soft through the window. He was quiet. Then he turned to me and said, "Daniela, I need to tell you something." His voice had weight. My heart began to race. "I'm married," he said. "I have 2 children." The air left my lungs. Froze. "I didn't mean to lie," he said quickly. "I didn't expect to meet someone like you. My marriage. It's not what it used to be. We live in the same house, but it's over. I stay for the kids." I didn't say anything. Couldn't. My mind was racing, my hands cold. I got up and walked outside. The wind stung my face. My thoughts were a storm. He followed me. "I understand if you don't want to see me again." He nodded. I couldn't even cry. I just walked home. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Questions echoed inside me. Why didn't he tell me? Why did I let myself feel again? But in the quiet, I also remembered his eyes, his voice, the way he made me feel safe. I hated that I missed him even then. The next day he texted, "I'm sorry. I miss you." I didn't reply. But I didn't block him either. Days passed. I couldn't focus at work. My phone became a tether, a reminder of the ache I couldn't name. I told myself to let go, but part of me still held on. A week later we met again. I needed answers. I told him I was hurt, that he should have been honest. He said he knew, and he didn't try to defend himself. He just said, "I care about you." And I stayed. I stayed because I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that love could grow even in the cracks. I told myself it was temporary, that one day he would leave her, that he would choose me. But weeks turned into months and nothing changed. We became a secret. He'd come down to Brighton Bay, stay at the little harbor house, and I'd meet him there. We shared dinners. We talked late into the night. He brought me books, made me laugh, held me close. But it was always in the dark. Always behind closed curtains. No public walks. No photos. No future plans. I told myself the moments we had were enough. But slowly they stopped feeling like gifts and started feeling like chains. My world shrank around him. I waited for his messages. I turned down plans with friends. I stayed home staring at my phone, waiting. Always waiting. And still I loved him. I loved the way he listened. The way he remembered the smallest details. The way he held me like I was something precious. But love like that, love without light, began to change me. I stopped reading. I stopped laughing. I stopped living. One night I stood on the beach and whispered into the wind, "Is this love? Or am I just lonely?" I didn't want to answer. But I knew. Each time he left, the house felt colder. Emptier. There was never a toothbrush left behind. No socks. No sign of him. Just echoes. He had a life where I didn't exist. And I had become a shadow of myself. I wanted to believe he would choose me. That one day I would wake up and he would be there. Fully, completely. But hope like that hurts. I told my friend Nina everything. She was the only one who knew. "You deserve to be loved in daylight," she said. "Not just when it's easy for him." Her words haunted me. One evening Michael came again, holding flowers and smiling like nothing was wrong. I didn't smile back. "I don't know if I can keep doing this," I said. He looked confused. "Why now?" "Because I'm not living. I'm waiting. And I don't want to wait anymore." He was quiet. "I love you," he said. "You know that. Then why don't you choose me?" He looked away. "It's not that simple. I have children. And what am I?" I asked. "Just a secret." He didn't answer. That night I cried for the last time in his arms. Not because I hated him, but because I finally saw the truth. He would never leave. And I had already stayed too long. The next day I didn't text. I didn't call. I walked by the sea in the morning, the air crisp and clear. I stood alone, letting the wind wrap around me, and I felt still. I began to reclaim pieces of myself. I went to the bookstore again. I joined a writing class. I read stories about women finding their way. And slowly I began to find mine. Michael still messaged, "I miss you. I think about you. Can I see you?" But I didn't reply. Then one evening he showed up at my door. We sat, talked. I told him everything I had held inside. "I love you," I said. "Maybe I always will. But I want a whole heart. I want someone who walks with me in the sun. Not just hides with me in the dark."